Do I dare call the breakfast burrito the perfect breakfast item? Too late. I already did. The breakfast burrito is perfect in every way. You take all those goodies, wrap them up into a perfect form factor to be picked up, sauced, dipped, ladled, eaten with a fork and a knife. I don't know who would do that, but you could. And simply just devoured. The first one is traditional with bacon, egg, and cheese, hash brown, pico, you know, the good stuff. I say that's enough talking. I think you need to see what I'm gonna be making. Let's turn up the heat. I would recommend starting with your Pico. The longer it sits, the better it gets. And we know we want all the flavor. This is a little non-traditional. I'm taking just a little bit of this habanero instead of a jalapeno. Next is about a quarter of an onion. After that, slice up this tomato. And last thing to chop, the cilantro. The cilantro is that driving flavor, so you want to make sure you get enough of it, but it's very overpowering and very strong if you use too much. Take your lime, juice it in. That looked like enough juice from just 1/2. Give this a nice pinch of salt, a little bit of pepper, give it a whirl and give it a taste. Yep. In an hour or so, this is going to be perfect in that burrito. All those flavors are going to come together nicely. Store it in the fridge, keep it cold. The hash browns are completely optional. Potatoes typically go with breakfast, so I figured I'd just throw them in there. It's also going to add a nice little crunch. Get a bowl, a grater, and a russet potato, and simply just start grating. Simply fill these up with water, as such, and just let these soak and sit in the water for at least 45 minutes. After those hash browns are done soaking, strain them and squeeze them real well. Get them really dry. Add a couple tablespoons of butter. And right in the center of that butter, go ahead and add your potatoes. Give these a sprinkle of salt, some pepper. Loosen it up, make sure it's sliding around the pan. Get it close to that edge and give it a flip. Let that other side get nice and crispy, maybe give it one more flip, and it's done. For the bacon, start by lining a pan with aluminum foil. Getting any kind of bacon you like, line it on. Toss this into a cold oven, and then setting it to 375. And bake until it's bubbling and they're perfectly golden brown. For the tortillas, take your dough, cut it in half, get some flour down. The recipe for these guys is right there. Just simply add them all to a bowl and just start mixing. Once your tortilla is rolled out, roll it back up onto your rolling pin and then roll it into your pan. Once you start to get little brown spots, it's perfect. Pull it, you don't want to get it too toasty. You've seen me make scrambled eggs before. These ones are going to have cheese in them, just for simplicity, because all the burritos need cheese, and this way, it gets it out of the way as an extra step, and that way it's nice and melty, gooey. You'll see what I'm going to do. Toss some butter in the pan. 2 eggs per burrito, 3 burritos, 6 eggs. Going into the pan, move them around, attack the sides, push it into the center. This is your chance to add a bit of salt. And since I'm making 3, I'm just going to add cheese straight to this instead of adding cheese into each one, just for ease. That cheese will now melt into the eggs and make cheesy eggs. Arguably the best kind of eggs. Could have used a non-stick pan, but this one was already dirty, so screw it. Now it's time for assembly. Starting with your first tortilla, place down your hash brown, some eggs, some bacon, and some of that fresh pico. Tuck in the sides, fold over the top, tuck, and squeeze. Just like that, the first breakfast burrito is done. On to the next. Number 2 is going to be steak, peppers, and onions with a cheese sauce. A little different. The meat is going to be the showstopper in this burrito. The steak for this bad boy is a nice New York strip. Quick sear on one side, butter baste the other with garlic, and you got yourself a damn good steak. Go in with about a tablespoon of oil. Take the steak, salt both sides generously. You can place that fat cap down first. Maybe render off some of that fat. You don't want to melt off all that fat because that fat cap is flavor. Once it starts to get brown, go ahead and simply just toss it on. Once the steak is ready, go ahead, give it a flip. Look at that perfect crust all the way through. Very nice. Exactly what you're looking for. Now take a couple tablespoons of butter and 3 garlic cloves that have been crushed. Get your steak to the top side of that pan. Start making some garlic butter down here. And now we baste. This steak is reading right around 117 degrees. And now this steak is just gonna rest. The onions and peppers for the steak breakfast burrito, super easy. Chop them up nice and thin. Now back into this pan that just had the steak. Go ahead, melt a couple tablespoons of butter. Take your onions and peppers and toss them straight in. Give these a little sprinkle of salt. You want to cook these down, but you don't want them to be fully caramelized. You want a little bit of color. They're starting to turn just slightly brown. That's perfect to me. You want a slight bite on these, honestly. It's going to add a slight, nice little crunch. Just a quick saute and pull them. You've seen me make this Mornay sauce before. Roux, milk, cheese, salt, nutmeg. You know the basics. Let's get to it. 2 tablespoons of butter, 2 tablespoons of flour. Like always, cook this for a couple minutes until that starchy smell goes away. Once it does, go in with 3/4 cups of milk. Give this a pinch of salt, a small dash of nutmeg, a little bit of pepper. I'm gonna go in with the cheddar. It's about a 1/2 cup. Give this a taste, make sure it's right where you want it. Nice and cheesy, not too salty, perfect. We're gonna slice into this steak. Should be a perfect medium. Very nice. Get your next tortilla, put down your eggs, your beautiful steak. Some of that luscious cheese sauce. Some onions and peppers. And just like that, we roll it up. Second one's done, on to the last. And the last one is gonna be a little bit different. I'm gonna attempt to make a pancake tortilla and simply just stuff it with sausage, egg, and cheese. A little bit of maple syrup. I'm not sure how it's gonna turn out, but I'll try and be creative. If you're seeing this, it's probably in the video, so it probably turned out all right. For the breakfast sausage, get about a pound of meat, pork specifically. Add a 1/2 teaspoon of fennel seeds, a dash of nutmeg, a 1/2 teaspoon of thyme, and a 1/2 teaspoon of sage, a tablespoon of brown sugar, a hefty sprinkle of salt, and now we just mix this up. Once it's all mixed up, go straight into a hot pan. This pork does have brown sugar in it, so be careful. It will caramelize and get dark and then burn very quick. This pancake batter is just a simple batter. I'm going to be watering this down quite a bit just to make sure I can get that spread in the pan. Starting with a cup of flour, a half teaspoon of salt, an eighth teaspoon of baking soda, a half tablespoon of baking powder, an eighth of a cup of sugar. Stir this up well just to get that baking powder and baking soda incorporated throughout. Now goes 3/4 cups of milk, 1 egg, and optional but always necessary, a half teaspoon of vanilla. Now just whisk this up. I forgot to add one ingredient. Just gonna go in with 1 tablespoon of oil. And just like that, your batter's done, nice and thin, ready for a perfect spread. Now for the pancake, add a bit of oil. This one's a bit bigger, it went up around those sides. This one, if it comes out, should be perfect. And we'll flip it. Perfect. This right here, this is it. This is the one I'm gonna use. Turn the pan off, make sure it doesn't burn. Put down your eggs. Some of that breakfast sausage. Now right here is, you guessed it, a sausage, egg, and cheese in a pancake wrap. Look at that. Perfect. And now we're looking to seal these and go for that classic breakfast burrito, one side nice and golden brown. Oh yeah, perfect. Look at that. And now it's time to bring in your breakfast burritos. The pancake looking so good. I'm excited for this one. This is gonna wait until the end. The other two, I guess we'll find out which one is which once we cut it open. Get your knife, cut it in half. And this one is the steak. Perfect. That means this one is the bacon. Amazing. Hash brown, cheese, eggs, bacon, salsa. So good. And last but not least, the one I am hyped for, the sausage, egg, and cheese. My favorite breakfast sandwich in a pancake wrap. Let's go. Look at that. So bomb. And now you know what time it is. My stomach has been rumbling this whole video. It's time to eat. This is so good. I'm looking at 3 breakfast burritos and they are looking mighty fine. Starting with the steak. Wow. The eggs are soft. I'm just gonna speak on the eggs once because they're in all 3. They're super cheesy, super gooey. So nice. The steak is amazing. Can't go wrong with a New York strip. Cooked to that perfect medium. Onions and peppers. I mean, the cheese sauce, come on. Come on. You saw the steak draped in cheese, like, is it gonna get better than that? The OG classic bacon, egg, and cheese, hash brown, Pico. Cheers. Okay. Giving the other a run for its money. The first burrito is like a brunch burrito, yeah, you know. Next one, a little earlier in the morning, a little lighter. That potato really sells it for me. The sausage, egg, and cheese in a pancake. You know, I had to get the syrup. Here we go. Yo, what? Stop. This is it. Best one, hands down. I didn't know how it was going to turn out. It's amazing. What the hell? I could go on and on and on. I'm going to stop here. If you like this video as much as I like making it, please give it a big fat thumbs up. I mean, it's 3 burritos in one video. Give it a like. Smash the subscribe button. Smash it. Smash it. And until next time, peace.